Welcome back to another NXT review with me, Mr. Parkin, on behalf of the British Fist. And this was another damn good NXT show, in my opinion. It wasn't all about match quality. It was about segments and the effectiveness of some of the segments. And the direction that I feel NXT is going forward with their product, in my opinion, is a damn good one based on what we got tonight. So leave me your thoughts on this edition of NXT down in the comment section below. Also, the link to this edition of NXT, if you want to watch it, will be in the description box as usual. And let's go. So it looks like they're finally going to be sending the Ascension after the Tag Team Championships. And finally, they're going to be giving the Ascension some kind of feud, which I've been calling them out to do for so long now, NXT. They injured Corey Graves in a backstage segment, and that gave us Adrian, Neville versus Conan O'Brien later in the night. You'd assume that Ascension would go after the Tag Team Championships now, and this was a semi-decent way of setting this up for a main event match later on the night. I'm just glad that, because the Tag Champs aren't really doing that much, Ascension weren't really doing that much, so bringing them together and putting them in a feud, considering they're the only two tag teams in NXT right now, is a damn good idea, and it should have happened a long time ago, in my opinion. When I look at the opening match between Tyler Breeze and CJ Parker, in my opinion, you have one character in Tyler Breeze that is really working, in my opinion, is really clicking buttons. And then you have another character in CJ Parker that really isn't doing anything right now. He barely gets a reaction. The gimmick seems really just dull, and a gimmick I really can't get into, in my opinion. And it's interesting to see the comparison between the two, how the crowd reacts on their entrances and everything. You can tell the Tyler Breeze character is working, and the CJ Parker gimmick just really isn't ever going to pick up. Kind of reminds me of Kendrick's Wizard of Oz gimmick that really never actually picked up in TNA at all. And talk about a buzzkill. I present to you CJ Parker, NXT's buzzkill right now. And he even took Tyler Breeze's efforts to really make this into a match which I could be semi-interested in. Tyler Breeze beats CJ Parker quite quickly after using the cell phone, which is exactly how it should have happened. I hope now that they send Tyler Breeze away from CJ Parker. I hope this was just an introductory feud for Tyler Breeze, and they move him on to bigger things from now on and just quit with this CJ Parker gimmick, which is just awful in my opinion. Tyler Breeze has left the building, people. You know, lately the Emma and Summer Rae feud has really been overshadowing Paige's title run right now. I mean, they had that really good dance-off segment a couple of weeks back, and this week they had what I thought was a pretty good Divas match, the best in some time in my opinion. They built up this feud quite well over these last couple of weeks, like I said. And I'm still hoping that the main goal for NXT and their Women's Championship is Emma versus Paige 2. As Summer Rae lately has been kind of feeling like a jobber, and they're the two real standouts, and I'm hoping they have another match down the line even. And this is just more like it from what I expect from the NXT women's division. You know, a match got a pretty good amount of time. It told some kind of story. Emma gets the victory, and even though Summer Rae has been feeling like a jobber lately, she still gets a little bit of a comeuppance afterwards by filling Emma's face full of bubble mixture and everything like that. So, you know, I thought this was a pretty good match, pretty good segment. I'm wondering where they're going to go down the line with this feud. But like I said, I hope that the end goal is Emma versus Paige in another match for the NXT Women's Championship. This week was more like it from the Divas division. And apparently Sasha Banks is going to be having a match with Paige in 2 weeks' time. And, you know, by the looks of what they did in that backstage segment with Summer Rae, it looks like they may be doing a couple of tweaks to Sasha Banks' character, which is a little bit bland lately and not really getting much TV time after she had that backstage segment with Summer Rae. Looks like they're going to be doing something a little bit different with the Sasha Banks character, which hopefully will be good for the NXT Divas division going forward. You know when you have a heel on a show and he's getting cheered a lot and, you know, it gets to a point where the crowd are cheering all the time and there's not really much point in him keeping heel anymore? Well, that's the feeling I've been getting with Enzo Amore quite a lot over these last couple of weeks and months, etc. And NXT have now turned him face. Thank God, people are cheering him. He has a catchphrase which is over. In my opinion, at some point down the line, they had to make him face. And even though he's probably still going to be a jobber going forward, my God, he could be a real standout star in NXT, as he is pretty damn over right now. He's one of the more over guys on the roster, and it's amazing to think that a jobber is one of the more over guys on the roster right now. But there we go. I wish NXT would have done a little bit more with this other than some kind of backstage segment before the match between Enzo Amore, Colin Cassidy, and Scott Dawson and Sylvester Lafore. I wish they could have done a little bit more with that before going into this match, but again, this wasn't really like a big match or anything, so you didn't have to put too much build into it. The interesting part of this match, other than the fact that Enzo Amore on the mic was once again awesome, was the fact that after facing Ziggler last week, Alexander Rusev attacked Colin Cassidy from behind to give Scott Dawson the win. Now, as much as I'm liking Alexander Rusev, I think it would be a really good idea to give Alexander Rusev Sylvester Lafore as a manager. I mean, what the fuck is he doing for Scott Dawson right now? How is Scott Dawson benefiting? Not really from Sylvester Lefort. I think Alexander Rusev could really benefit from having a manager in Sylvester Lefort. So I'd really like it if down the line NXT actually put Sylvester Lefort and Rusev together. They fit together because they're both European. Alexander Rusev, in my opinion, with his gimmick, will need some kind of manager and someone to speak to him. It's a match made in heaven, in my opinion. Much like Enzo Amore and Saw. In what I thought was the best segment of the night, we had an interview segment with Sami Zayn following up last week's 2 out of 3 Falls match that he had with Antonio Cesaro, which he lost. And basically, in this interview with Renee Young, he says his focus is going to be on the NXT Championship, which is exactly how I feel NXT need to go about the Sami Zayn character now going forward after that great match he had with Antonio Cesaro. We had Bo Dallas coming out, who seemed a little bit stuck up about him losing last week and how Sami Zayn isn't championship material. And, you know, the Bo Dallas character, I haven't liked it for a long time, but it seems like they've made the right nuances and the right changes to his character, and it just now seems to work. He comes in the ring and, you know, is saying, oh, you're not good enough to be NXT champion, and he's this stuck-up champion. And now they've finally changed the character to address the fan reaction. So it just feels a lot more natural now for Bo Dallas to be this smiley champion that is just really in over his head and just thinks he's bigger than he actually is. He's got a head like a fucking massive orange, as Ricky Gervais would say about Carl Pilkington. What was interesting here was, I mean, Sami Zayn and Bo Dallas down the line will be a fantastic match, and that should be the match, in my opinion, where Bo Dallas maybe goes onto the main roster if they have plans for him, and they should give Sami Zayn the belt. Do this a couple of months down the line, in my opinion. But they did a good job here in laying the groundwork for potentially building up to this match, which should be a damn good one for NXT and one of the bigger matches of the year, in my opinion, for the NXT Championship. And it was interesting here also, we had Zeb Coulter coming out and talking about Sami Zayn being not from America and how he shouldn't be going after the championship, etc. We get Jack Swagger attacking Sami Zayn from behind while Bo kind of just like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, people, kind of way. And it looks like we're going to be getting Sami Zayn versus Jack Swagger next week. And in my opinion, it's going to be the main event as well. In my opinion, much like his match against Cesaro, it's going to be another really good way to put over Sami Zayn. I wonder if Sami Zayn is going to win. But even if he doesn't win, this should be a good way to get Sami Zayn involved with on-screen talents such as Jack Swagger and Cesaro and really get him involved that way and get him over so you got to the point where he can be going after a guy like Bo Dallas and believably beat him despite his size, etc. So this interview segment accomplished many things. They focused on Sami Zayn going after the NXT Championship. Bo Dallas's character is now much more of a fit. They've highlighted a match for next week between Sami Zayn and Jack Swagger. They also continued on the Sami Zayn-Cesaro storyline as well by Sami Zayn bringing up that if Sami Zayn ever wants to, you know, if he ever wants to have a match with Cesaro again, he will be ready. So they did a lot with this segment, in my opinion, which will do a lot of good going forward for the Sami Zayn character and also the Bo Dallas character as well, which recently hasn't really been clicking with a lot of fans, and a lot of fans have been booing it. Or bowing, as Bo Dallas so eloquently puts. Jackass. In our main event of the evening, we had Adrian Neville versus Conor O'Brien, a typical big man versus small man. Now, with the Ascension only just going after these two, I really felt that despite injuring Corey Graves earlier on in the night, the heels really need to get one over Adrian Neville. It would have been pretty easy as well. Conor O'Brien is much bigger than Adrian Neville. It would have been easy to give Conor O'Brien a win here, in my opinion. But I was really surprised when Adrian Neville beat Conor O'Brien clean with a 540 splash in what was a very, very short main event match. And I was thinking, not really sure why NXT have done this, really, if you want to send Ascension after the championships. But you have Ascension attacking Adrian Neville and then a running in Corey Graves post-match. So at least you use that way to get some heat on the heels afterwards. So it looks like they're going to be building up to a tag match between these two teams at some point. And considering they're the only two teams in the division right now, I felt this really needs to happen. Even though I felt the match was a little bit disappointing as it wasn't really long enough at all, and I didn't really feel the right result was gotten out of this match. At least going forward, I can look forward to a semi-interesting tag team championship feud between the Ascension, what I feel is a very good heel tag team, and a mediocre tag team in Adrian Neville and Corey Graves right now. So like I said, there was a lot on this show that I really liked. I mean, you've got a new tag team championship feud that feels fresh. You've got the Tyler Breeze gimmick that's evolving. You've got Sami Zayn's character, which is really coming on into a top star in NXT right now. Bo Dallas's character has made the right changes, in my opinion. You know, you've got Enzo Amore has now turned face, which in my opinion is a very good thing. Hopefully Sylvester Lafore will be partnered with Alexander Rusev. And not to mention, the NXT Divas division really seems to be picking up after what I felt was a slightly disappointing NXT Women's Championship tournament. So a lot seems to be going right on NXT right now. The big match down the line is going to be Sami Zayn versus Bo Dallas, and I am really looking forward to that match. And next week's main event, which is going to be Sami Zayn versus Jack Swagger. I'm looking forward to Sami Zayn being, especially after only being there for, what, a couple of months now, 6 months possibly. I'm looking forward to him being a staple and a main event player right now in NXT. It should be pretty good going forward. So let me know what you thought of this NXT show. I have been Mr. Parkin. Thank you very much for watching this review if you have, and goodbye.